What up? Let's do a review on the dollar and such overall markets. Not much going on in the dollar, and just same as yesterday. Blah blah blah. Had the double top. It's a daily chart over the 34 into the 34, rejected into the 8, rejected. We have a little push here, 50% roll as it pushes the long red candle, 50% roll as it pushes past into the 13. So far a double top over the 13. So I got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder maybe to come in. We'll see if that holds, because on the weekly it looks like it could come down a little bit more than that, because I got a longer term left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and usually those right shoulders come down. So maybe this bounce on the daily coming into the cross of the 8 and the 13, and then a rollover as this line here is probably the last ditch effort for support in my terms on a reverse head and shoulders, and get that sling back, coming back into support. And then we can move higher. S&P, looks like we got a little push, pushing into resistance still, hitting those previous lows. Let's see what happens. We got the 8 crossing over the 34. I suspect we need some kind of opposing point. So I said that yesterday. But it's getting into previous lows, so we got some resistance. Nice push though. Same. You can see the Dow, it's different. It looks like the S&P closed on its highs, or very close to it, where the Dow kind of pushed into previous lows and backed off on the close. Same. Looks like the VIX may want to go lower, but it's holding 10 there. NASDAQ, same stuff going on, into resistance. I mean, once it breaks in the previous lows, it could ride the range up, so let's see what happens. But I always say the opposing point to catch support to establish trend is necessary, so that could happen at any moment. Same as yesterday. Kind of repeating myself. Apple, looks like next stop is the 34 into previous lows. Got a nice cross on the 8 over 13. Previous high breaks on today's close. I'm pretty bullish on Google, especially this stair step into support after the cross. That's a nice consolidation bullish stair step. Previous high breaks. Watch for that push. Got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Push across. I got a W over here. It's trying to make a bottom, whatever it's doing. Let's see if it can't push across and go into the range. Start basing. Nikkei got the double bottom again. On the weekly, that was a nice, I believe it was a nice whipsaw looking thing. So the W, I got a nice outside day, and then the stair step, double bottom, higher low, over the resistance into support, and then just, it's in a tight little space. You can see that price pinch now. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. You can use those lines as support and resistance lines. So one of these days, very soon, it's going to have to decide up or down. Another whipsaw into resistance, into support, pop. Now I got a nice little resistance. I'm looking for an opposing point to set trend, but I got a nice meeting line right there. So maybe a push into resistance, back into support, establish trend, back and forth, back and forth. Let that pattern get established there. Like crude, look at that little pop. Pop over into support, following that 8 all the way up. I got nice resistance from previous highs. And that 8 pushing up support. So you got another price pinch right over the 34. You always got to watch those patterns above the 34. Not to say that this could come down and have an opposing point, but I got a nice little pattern forming right above. Has plenty of room to come down and be safe. I got an outside day here. Over, into, pop. I got a left shoulder head, right shoulder. It could just swing down really quick. So this is going to come down and fill the gap. I think we talked about that. Natural gas. Nice cross. Nice J curve. Pop. Now it's going to come down in. Hopefully it'll fill that gap and then establish some trend following that 8 as it moves back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Looks like steel wants to make a pop. Still looking for an opposing point to establish trend, but we could get a pop. Looks like it tried to break previous highs. I got previous lows over here, so I got some resistance very short by. Uranium, we're going to look at the long-term chart. Now we got the crossover. That's a very ominous signal back into support signal. Nice pop. Look for a retrace at any moment. That's a very nasty falling star. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little candle there. Not much movement otherwise. Bitcoin still waiting for that pop. Let's get the daily. Left head, right shoulder. There's this little sling back there. Let's see if this can pop across. Intraday has a, we were just discussing this earlier, intraday has a reverse head and shoulders as well. So hopefully we can get a pop across. But it still has a lot of room to come down into completing that right shoulder. Gold. Looks like a high level consolidation. I'm looking for a retracement, but that's a nice little tight pattern. It's got to make a decision. It's got to make a decision. Looks like silver's crossing over. It's like a, I tried to explain it yesterday. It was elasticity of price, where price gets far and away from support. So it's like a rubber band. So from the 34 or from the 8, it stretches and then comes back. And you can see how far away it is from the 34. So I'm looking for a retrace on silver as well. Gold-silver ratio. I'd love to see this thing break out. Long-term chart says it might. as it came into support. So today we're 83.14 ounces of silver per ounce of gold. That's pretty good. Waiting for a breakout on that thing. That would be awesome. Silver's doing a consolidation. Let's see if the thin line of support will hold. I got legs. Let's see if it can't pop across and start building. Had a nice pop from the last run. Daily left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Could come down in for a support drop. Got plenty of support at 25, 250, 280. Looks like GDX came into support. I got the crossover. So now it can either drop one more time, as this is the balance point here, so maybe drop, make a measured move, as they say. Let's take the high. And take a measured move down. Imagine that. Same thing. You know, how far away did it get from its averages? So it's going to come back in. If it wants to go sideways, I got a lot of resistance coming in on the top there. Hopefully it'll smack that resistance line. I guess it did pretty good. Reverse head and shoulders pop. Got the W, ran it into resistance, and so it's just going to come down into support somewhere. It's looking good. JNUG, same thing. Nugget, maybe just one swing down into support. It's hard to judge exactly where that's going to be. Maybe there. First Majestic, I got legs, so maybe I pop into resistance. Look how left shoulder, head, right shoulder, sling back. Look at that, on target. That is completing the right shoulder. Let's see if this thing will pick the pace back up. Start moving forward. That's a nice little sling back. So it hit previous lows, right? Hit previous lows, ran into previous lows, got suckered back in. Now we're closing below the 13. So double top over the 8, into the 13, back into the 8, and then it's just follow the bouncing ball. I got support at the 34. It filled a gap on the way up. Maybe it's gonna come down into the other gaps to fill. Hecla Mining. Let's see if this can't reverse here as it's coming into support. Along those lines there. So it made a pop, came into support. That's a bullish retracement. So keep your eye on that. Buy into support. NAK, that's nice. Popped over resistance into support. 3-bar pattern. Over support. Over, under, bam. Nicely done. Follow the red line all the way up. I got resistance at 80 cents. It's a nice little popper. And that's it. Appreciate you guys. Let me know what's going on out there. Catch me in Discord. I'll try to get the links out there, but the streamer doesn't like to... it's supposed to be a default